You've prayed over your business plan. You've anointed your workspace. You've surrendered your goals to God, trusting that if you just have enough faith, the clients will come and the revenue will flow. So why are you lying awake at night, staring at a negative bank balance, wondering if God is ignoring your prayers? Why do you feel this deep, crushing guilt every time you even think about making a profit? You are not alone. Today, we are going to expose exactly why 90% of Christian businesses fail, and it has absolutely nothing to do with a lack of faith. In fact, what is holding you back is a trap so subtly disguised as righteousness that you probably don't even realize you're caught in it. Subscribe now if you are finally ready to break free from religious guilt and build true biblical wealth. We call it the alignment trap. It is the dangerous belief that simply aligning your heart with God means you can bypass the practical, immutable laws of business. You have been taught that ambition is dangerous. You have been told that wanting financial freedom is somehow selfish or unspiritual. Therefore, you operate your business with one foot on the gas and one foot firmly on the brake. You desperately want to grow, to provide for your family, to experience freedom, but you are terrified of becoming greedy. This internal conflict creates a profound friction that eventually destroys everything you're trying to build. And it manifests in two very specific, very deadly mistakes. The first mistake is what I call prayer paralysis. It is using faith as an excuse to avoid doing the hard, practical work of business strategy. You ask God to send you customers, but you haven't taken the time to actually understand what your customers need. You pray for a financial breakthrough, but you refuse to sit down and analyze your profit and loss statements. You treat prayer as a substitute for market research. God gave you faith, but He also expects strategy. Consider the story of Nehemiah. When he was called to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem, he didn't just stand in the rubble and pray for a miracle. He inspected the ruins. He gathered resources. He formulated a strategic plan, organized his workers, and set guards to protect them. He prayed, yes, but then he picked up a trowel. You are asking God to multiply your business, but you haven't built a solid structure for Him to multiply. When you refuse to study your market, when you refuse to learn sales, when you refuse to look at your spreadsheets because you are just trusting God, you are not operating in faith. You are burying your talent in the sand. Remember the parable of the talents? The servant who buried his coin wasn't acting out of righteousness. He was acting out of fear. He was afraid of the master, afraid of failure, and so he did nothing. True biblical faith requires action. Faith without works is dead. And in the modern marketplace, works look like doing your market research. Works look like building a marketing strategy. Works look like deeply understanding the pain points of your ideal customer so you can serve them with excellence. Later in this video, I'm going to reveal the exact mindset shift you need to price your services confidently without feeling like a fraud. But first, you have to acknowledge the reality of your current strategy. God parted the Red Sea, but Moses still had to lift his staff and lead the people through the mud. You have to lift your staff. You have to learn how to market. You have to learn how to sell. Selling is not a sin. Selling is serving. If you truly believe that your product or service can help someone, keeping it a secret because you are too intimidated to learn marketing is actually doing a disservice to the very people God called you to help. This brings us to the second fatal mistake, and this is the one that quietly bankrupts so many well-meaning women: the trap of false modesty. How many times have you discounted your services because you felt bad asking for money? How many times have you given away your time, your products, and your hard-earned expertise for free, convincing yourself that you are just being generous and practicing Christian charity? In reality, you aren't being generous. You are terrified to state your true price. If you are tired of undercharging and over-delivering to the point of exhaustion, hit that subscribe button right now to learn how to operate in your God-given authority in business. There is a pervasive lie in the Christian community that charging what you are worth is somehow unchristian. We conflate humility with poverty. But let's look at the ultimate biblical model for a female entrepreneur, the Proverbs 31 woman. Read that chapter closely. She is not sitting around giving away her woven garments for free to prove how humble she is. The Bible explicitly says she considers a field and buys it. She perceives that her merchandise is profitable. She is a merchant. She is an investor. She knows the intrinsic value of her work, and she demands a fair exchange for it in the marketplace. When you undercharge out of false modesty, you are not being holy. You are devaluing the very gifts God placed inside of you. You are telling the marketplace that the anointing on your life, the skills you have honed, the time you sacrifice away from your family is cheap. Undercharging leads to burnout. Burnout leads to resentment. And resentment ultimately leads to you shutting down the very business that was supposed to be your vehicle for financial freedom. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and you certainly cannot fund the kingdom from an empty bank account. But the real issue goes much deeper than just pricing models or business plans. The deeper problem, the heavy weight you carry in your chest every time you try to promote your business, is that somewhere along the line, you internalize the lie that poverty equals purity. You deeply fear that if you become highly successful, you might lose your soul, or that others in your community will judge you as worldly. So you sabotage your own growth. You hide your brilliance. You shrink back, hoping that by staying small, you are staying safe in God's eyes. You carry a lingering guilt for wanting more out of life, for wanting nice things, for wanting to leave an inheritance for your children's children. It is time to break that mindset forever. Wealth is not a sin. Money is entirely amoral. It is simply a tool that magnifies the heart of the person holding it. Money in the hands of a selfish person creates destruction. But money in the hands of a righteous, grounded, faithful woman is a weapon for the kingdom. When your business thrives, you can fund ministries. You can support your family without stress. You can hire people who desperately need jobs. You can show the entire world what it looks like when God blesses the work of a diligent hand. You are not required to be poor to be loved by God. You are required to be a good steward. And being a good steward means running a profitable, healthy, scaling business that honors your time and your talent. It means treating your business like a real business, not an expensive hobby disguised as a ministry. It means doing the hard work of market research, mastering the art of ethical sales, and standing firm in your pricing because you know the value of the transformation you provide. Stop using prayer as a hiding place from the hard work of strategy. God is waiting to bless the work of your hands, but you have to actually give Him something to bless. Stop lowering your prices to appease people who don't value your calling. Step into the marketplace with the unapologetic confidence of a woman who knows exactly who she is, exactly who she serves, and exactly what her time is worth. The world doesn't need more exhausted, broke Christian women trying to run businesses out of guilt. The world needs empowered women who understand that abundance is their birthright when they align their diligent strategy with their unwavering faith. Subscribe now and turn on notifications so you never miss a biblically aligned revelation that could transform your financial trajectory forever. And be sure to click the next video on your screen to continue your journey into unshakable abundance.